let's come into a seated position. I love making it all beautiful and comfy for myself and for you. All these little things are also just a gesture of wanting to make it nice. It's like you put a beautiful fire for yourself to just nurture and make sure you've got the heat and the right. Ooh, this one is tricky. It's got 3. So the other 2 are already on. 1, 2, come on. Yes. Voila. Some light, some atmosphere. Don't need that. Oh, someone else joining. Oh, Emma, you're in the waiting room and in the class, so you might have accidentally entered us twice. Okay, that's fine. We'll do a full hour. So come into a seat. You can, for example, sit on a block or on a pillow. Oh, this is my little cat. Her name is Yuna, and she likes yin yoga, so she sometimes comes and says hi. So come into a comfortable seat, which can be cross-legged or kneeling. Rearrange any clothing or anything that is actually immediately drawing your attention. And once you've gotten that out of the way, immediately close your eyes and sit as still as possible, not moving a single muscle. In yoga, we refer to yang energy and yin energy. Yang energy being translated or seen as masculine, yin as being feminine. Remember that in yoga there is no judgment or attachment. There's not that one is better than the other. It's all just a union. It's all, we need all elements of life, all elements of energy. But yin yoga is the feminine energy, and it is very nurturing. It's calm, a sense of recover, resting. Our Western world is quite young. Do, run from one place to the next, long to-do lists, and hardly any time in between to actually notice, to actually be, to feel, and to reflect. So these practices are very good for your physical body in that we're slowing down the central nervous system. We're stretching into deeper tissues of the body, where sometimes even resistance might come just because of the past, of emotions or things that you've held on for a long time, conditioning. So you can even become quite emotional on your mat, and there's no thoughts, there's no emotions that are not allowed on your mat. You just acknowledge them and you let them be. It is also a very meditative practice. So we have an opportunity to slow down our breath. You can start doing that already. And as a consequence, as a reaction, the mind also starts to slow down. Around 4 to 6 counts to breathe into the nose. And then you can slowly breathe out of the mouth. It is even scientifically proven that when you make your exhales longer than your inhales, it also has a very calming effect. So if that comes quite natural to you, feel free to do that. Let your breath be your priority. The breath will help you stay close to yourself. Let's sit still for another 4 rounds of breath. And even if sitting still tonight makes you feel a little uncomfortable, that's fine. There's days where sitting still just comes very natural, and there's days when we've been very busy or we've been triggered or there's other underlying things happening. It is harder to sit still. It's the observation that counts. Let's place our hands together in front of the heart, just as an acknowledgement, a greeting towards each other. We're physically not together, but we are practicing together. We're sharing energy, thoughts, emotions. So thank you for being here. It means the world to me to be able to continue to practice what I love. So thank you for your support and your presence. A dedication of your class to someone in need is also a beautiful habit. So maybe bring someone in your heart, in your mind, that might just need a little bit of positive vibrations. And then you can come into onto your belly. If you have a bolster or a towel, maybe place it at the top of your mat so it's ready to be taken if you want to. Come onto your belly. We'll very much today focus on the kidney meridian. So in Yin Yoga, we can focus on body parts, chakras, specific meridians. We stay in poses quite long. So Sphinx pose. Point your toes. Elbows are under your shoulders. And I always say, you know, when you do your pose in the very beginning, it's like trying it on. So feel free to move a little. Bring the elbows more forward or more close. If you want something to put your head on, if you feel, I even sometimes feel it is a symbolical resting of my head and my brain. So let that whole brain, that thinking, that mental world rest and just support, trust, let go. You don't have to do that. We'll stay here for 5 minutes. So feel free to close your eyes and really go into the sensations of your body. When we are halfway, I will give you an option to go higher, lower, or to stay. You can do this at any time. But our movements and our decision taking is conscious. Before moving out or deeper, just know why. If it's because there is sharp pain, of course we move. If it's because maybe there's certain emotions that are coming up, frustration, boredom, whatever it is, then maybe just stay a little longer and be curious to see where the edge is. In Yin, there's 3 things that we really kind of practice by, 3 rules, even though there's not really rules. It's EFT or EST. E is the edge. There is an edge where you feel you are stimulating something, a body part, maybe an organ, maybe an energy line. And your edge is different from mine because we are different. Then there is the F of non-fiddling. Once you have found your shape, you commit to stillness, to not fiddling, not even picking your nails or picking your mat. Just observe it when you do and notice why. And then there is the T of time, allowing time to work into the deeper physical, mental and emotional layers of your being. I'll let you know when we're halfway, which is in around 35 seconds, and then you can decide what to do. Stay with your breath. Slow, deep breaths in and out. Soften whatever you can soften on the exhale. Notice the sensations. Notice maybe specific parts in the body that start to send messages of tension or stretch. soften into those places. We are halfway. I am personally very happy here, so I'm not going to move. Well, I'll move to show you where you could go. Where you could go if you want deeper is to place blocks under your arms, which lift your chest more. If you don't have blocks, you can obviously use a towel or a bolster. Make sure your shoulders are away from the ears. So maybe take another 2 rounds of breath to see if you want to go higher, lower, and if that feels right. Otherwise, just stay here. And I'll let you know when it's time to move to the next shape. We've got around 4 to 5 beautiful, deep, long in and exhales. Notice what you notice. Relax your buttocks, stay with the breath. When we move out, we do so very slowly. You've been in this position for quite a while, so be gentle. Remove whatever prop is there and slowly come down onto the belly. Create a pillow with your hands. Slide your left knee up and let your face to the left. We'll just be here for 1 minute, not very long. Slide the left knee along the floor. Feel free to close your eyes. And now you can really breathe into the belly. Notice there's a bit of space there in the left side of the belly. And the more you breathe into the belly, the more space you also breathe into the lower back. Expanding the front, the sides and the back line of the body. Without too much movement, simply change sides. Turn your face, sorry to turn the back of my head to you. Bend the other knee, right knee slides up. Turn your face to the other side. Sighs are always welcome. It's a nice relief of any tension, any resistance, any stress or anxiety that is present in the body. Any fear, any sigh at any time is always welcome. So yin is also a very kind practice, very loving practice, very much based on sensations rather than thinking yourself into a shape. It's more about feeling yourself into a shape and allowing to feel. And Emma and I discussed it several times. Let's come back to center. Actually, before I say that, Emma and I have discussed coming to a tabletop, the less is more. The mind often wants to go, into the deepest of the most intense variation. But then it's harder for the tissues to release. It's harder to breathe really profoundly. So maybe today even in less is more could be your intention. Soft cat-cow stretches. Just move in between cow and cat for around 10 times. I would suggest to close your eyes so you can really feel where is the tension sitting. Is it between the shoulder blades? Is it in the lower back? Maybe around the neck area when you cat and you let the head drop. Just realize. And it's normal that the body holds on to all kinds of tension, and that's why we breathe space into the body, into the mind, into the heart, so we just become more open. Alright, the next one is called Hero's Pose. Let me just think there, with your left leg in front. Yeah. Prepare some props because I can almost certainly, not guarantee, it's not the right word, but I predict that some of you will need 1, 2, 3 props here. This is quite a deep shape. So we are going to, and I'll show you a little bit closer, you are going to sit your buttock on the inside of the foot as such. I'll show you this light from the fire. So in order to do so, it's nice to move the calf away. So your right hand can come to the calf, roll the calf away. Now I can sit on the floor. It's no problem for me to have both sit bones here. If your knee is sensitive, if this doesn't work, and for most people it honestly doesn't work, put something under you, a block, and then just create that height. Wherever you are, whenever I teach this I can't see all of your feet, but make sure the whole foot is on the floor. So the foot is not turned to the side or anything. So I always check in with my pinky toe. All 5 toes point straight forward. The heel, the right heel, is next to your buttock. If you feel like I'm almost grounded through my sit bones, but I'm just not, sit on something. Really, just sit on something. Give yourself, you'll be here for a while, so give yourself that space. All right, let's stay here for 3 minutes. If you are seated on something, you are not going to lie back. What you can do is bring your arms behind you and start to just relax here a little, open the heart. If you are sitting on the floor and you want to go a little bit more intense, you can start to bring your elbows down to the floor. I'm actually today feeling, that's why I feel it like a playground. Today I feel to lie on my bolster. So this is not for people that are sitting on something. If you're sitting on something, please stay upright. All right, our timer has started. When we are halfway, I'll let you know again. And you can again make a call for yourself. If you're lying all the way back, either on a bolster or on the floor, you can also choose to bend your left knee. Close your eyes and come into that breath. Breathing deeply and slowly also really relaxes your diaphragm, a muscle that sits inside your body, that separates the top, the chest, and the lower part of your upper body. Separates your respiratory system from, let's say, your digestive system, even though your digestive system already starts in your mouth in a way, but And it really presses into the intestines and stuff when you breathe nice and deep. We are halfway. It's your decision. You can stay exactly where you are, or you can go a little bit deeper maybe. That's why yoga, we can practice all together. Less is more. Give your body an opportunity to soften into the places where it's holding on to tension. And by going too far, you will notice your body starts maybe even to cramp up rather than to surrender and to soften. That's a very young thing to do. The edge, bringing the edge almost further than it really is. Pushing, pushing, further, further. That's not what this practice is all about. Soften, breathe. I'll let you know when it's time to move again. I'll first discuss how the people that are lying back can come out. We'll join the people that are seated. Try to come up as symmetrical as possible. Elbows, walk, walk, walk. Feel, and then press your chest up so we are all seated. And then you can, if you're sitting on a block, just be careful. I like to just roll off to the side and then extend the right leg. And then remove whatever is under you. And come lie down on your back for a little rebound. A mini shavasana. Notice the difference between the right and the left side of your body. Where do you feel the most sensations? Around the knee for me, but in a good way. Take 3 more rounds of breath. Come back to the breath. I, for a very long time in the beginning of my yin practice, used to remind myself of the breath by counting the breath. 4 to 6 counts in, 4 to 6 counts out. When you notice you've forgotten about the breath, it's okay. You just pay attention to it again and you start all over. Knees in towards your chest. You can bring a block, a pillow, anything that is nice in between your knees. And then bring the knees over to the left side for a spinal twist. The higher the knees are, the more you might feel it in the lower back. So I don't know, Oyanda, for example, be careful maybe. Bring the knees a little lower, a little bit more to the back of your mat. Or bring something in between the knees that is thicker. Give yourself some space. 3 minutes here as well. Good for your digestion. If you feel like today is a super spacious day and you've got lots of space and everything feels very easy, you may extend your right leg, that is your top foot. Bring the block under the foot rather than in between the knees. And then maybe hold on to your big toe. That's a huge stretch for your T-band stretch. But just notice if it adds value. Value in softening. Remember, this is yin. This is resting and recovering. Very different from our vinyasa practice. Soften your shoulders. Can you slide that right shoulder blade more down to the floor? Soften the skin on your face. Can you still breathe slowly and deeply? If the answer is no, probably it's wise to take a softer option. Softness almost gets rewarded. Not almost. Softness gets rewarded in these practices. We're halfway stillness until we move to the next shape. Alright, slowly bring your knees back to center. And take that rebound again. Just come into a short shavasana. Notice, breathe. Take 3 more rounds of breath. No, it's enough. All right, let's do that on the other side. So slowly roll to a side. From your side, go back up. And then we'll start with our right leg in front. Set yourself up. Remember, if you need something to sit on, move that left calf out of the way. Check your, so really move it to the side. Check your little pinky toe. If it's, I always just look at the alignment. If there would be sticks sticking out of my toes, they're all 5 pointing straight backwards. And then you stay here, you can bend the knee and just start to walk your hands behind you. Lift your chest. Or I'll need some space. I'm not gonna lie on top of you. Yeah. Maybe you come onto your elbows. Maybe you place something under your back to start off with. I'll start our timer now. 3 minutes here. And because obviously you are muted, I check if I see something that I'm like, oh, that looks totally unsafe. But if you want to ask, like, you can always leave me a voice note or an email. If we do a shape and you're like, hey, can we quickly just discuss this? Or, you know, I want to ask you something about that. Am I doing it right or wrong? But your body, your teacher inside will probably tell you, will already give you the answer. But yes, there is an edge. So there are sensations of maybe stretching, of resistance. Soften the skin on your face. And really, it's so lovely to just practice with your eyes closed. It's a very healing thing to do. To be present, it is a meditation. You're here, you're awake, you're not sleeping, but you're just deciding to turn your attention inwards. We're halfway. If you want to go into the deeper, less deep, feel free to do so. And then just when you make that decision, be honest to yourself. And I'm the first one to admit that my mind is a very strong, oh, let's just do this kind of attitude. That's not yin. So it's something I've actually learned in yin to stop thinking like that all the time. To feel rather than to think myself into a shape, which is still up to today challenging for me. Because my head wants my right side to be the same as the left. So why can't I do it the same on the one side compared to the other? But that's not moving from a space of nurturing. That's not moving from a space of feeling. That's moving from an external pressure rather than from an internal surrender and allowing and acceptance. Nothing wrong with it, just notice it. Take 4 more deep breaths in and out. Alright, people that are on their backs, on something, try to move your upper body as symmetrical as possible. Take a moment halfway when you're on your elbows to just pause and then start to walk up, roll to the right side. I'm actually going to turn around because I've got the wall on this side. And then you can come into your back, so you can just stay in the same, you don't have to flip to the other side. Oh, except if you have a wall. And then just pause here for a moment. Let everything be soft. Come back to the breath. Bring your knees in, up towards your chest, something in between the knees, a bolster, a block, a pillow, just to give it some space. And then let your knees fall over to the right side. Again, remember, you can play with where you want to feel the stretch. Every little adjustment, every little knee into chest, knee away from chest, just translates differently into that left buttock, into the left lower back. So make it comfortable for yourself. And with your eyes closed, it's easier to feel than when your eyes are open, because when your eyes are open, your eyes make your brain active in analyzing. Oh, that light is bright, or there is like whatever, the frames are skew. Thoughts come in when you open your eyes. So by closing them, you can just really focus on why we're here, which is to breathe, to soften, to rest and recover, to heal. Remember the option, if you feel like this is just comes very natural. If it's like, oh, yeah, why not? Then add it on. If it's like, oh, now I'm like stretching, then maybe that's not less is more. And literally, this is the last thing I'm going to say, and then in this shape we'll just continue in stillness. When I am in stillness, I go breathe in, exhale, and I say in my mind, soften. And it can even be something. Soften my thigh, soften my mouth, soften my big toe, or just in general, a whole energy of softness. So if you want to try that out for the next 2 minutes or so, breathe in everything that is healing and let that soften your being. I'll let you know when it's time to move again. Deep breaths in and out. Around 5 to 6 rounds of deep, slow breathing. Let the belly expand. Soften on the exhale, surrender. How slow can you move? As if you're moving through honey. Bring those knees back in. Oh, lovely. On the back. Remove the prop. Mini Shavasana for just 5 breaths. Again, the first couple of seconds, you can just readjust your shoulders and hips and then commit to stillness. From your back, come to your side, curl your knees into the chest. From the side, slow motion, no rushing, no triggering. Come up to a seat for Baddha Konasana, butterfly legs. Soles of the feet to touch. And in butterfly legs, you can choose to bring the heels really close. So really close to your groin, which gives another stretch compared to a bit further away. So you again can determine how far you want the feet. I'm going for super yin, diamond shape, nice and relaxed. And then you can either place a bolster and just lean forward on top. If it's hard for you to breathe here, if you feel that your nose is being squashed, you can turn your face to one side, and then when we're halfway, I will let you know to turn the face. We'll stay here for 4 minutes. So when we're halfway, again, you can decide to go higher, lower, but make the movements, because, you know, it's almost like you're stretching into the tissue. So if you come and sit all the way back up and then go all the way back down, you've activated the muscle again. So you almost have to like restart from the beginning. So make whatever movements you do decide to make. When you choose for upgrading or even going a little less deep, make them really minimal amount of movements. You can choose the first couple of moments. You might go, okay, this doesn't feel nice, what can I use, which prop, which toys, and then go, okay, this is it. So I can feel this is a little bit too low for me still. I'm just giving myself some height. Breathe. Soften your shoulders. Just takes time. So we also practice patience. Soften your jaw. Sometimes when tension appears in a part of the body, I can feel quite some like talking on my right inner groin, right hip. We start to clench the teeth as a reaction to staying with it. Notice that and relax your mouth. Halfway, so choose to stay, to go deeper. Close your eyes and breathe. More rounds of deep breathing. Take it easy, take it slowly. Come up, come up, come up, come up, come up. Extend your right leg to the side. I'll mirror you for Janusasana. So it looks very much like a tree pose, as if you're bringing that left foot on the inside of the right thigh. You can also bring the foot around the knee. In normal tree poses in Vinyasa, we are not allowed to put the foot on the knee because we're putting a lot of pressure. Here you can let it rest wherever it feels most natural, and maybe check with your sit bones. I even enjoy lifting up a little bit and just feeling that I'm in equal pressure on both sit bones. And then come all the way forward and relax. I'm going to take a block. A block would work. These wooden blocks are quite rough and come straight forward, so I place a little towel on top of it now. 3 minutes here. I always find it fascinating that when I set myself up, the first kind of adjustment is like, okay, let's make it comfortable. And then after a couple of breaths, almost like after a minute, you already feel like, hey, it really doesn't feel as intense anymore. Maybe I can already move to a different place. But does it serve me? Or is less is more, you know, when in doubt, just go a little higher. There's no forcing in this practice. There's allowing, accepting, surrendering. A sigh is always welcome. Less than a minute, breathe deeply, breathe slowly. Notice the sensations. Enjoy the core peace and quiet, the calmness, the stillness. On the inhale, slowly walk. You can use your hands to walk your hands in to lift your chest. Very nice. And then slowly change sides. One leg spreads out. Take that moment again to just wiggle, wiggle. And now obviously I went from a little higher to lower. So I'll probably, I don't know, maybe it's my mind determining that it is like that, but I'm going to give myself that same height. At least try it out. Maybe I need to even start higher. Feel both sit bones into the floor, wiggle, wiggle, and then come all the way down. Relax, you can relax your left toes. And one more safety thing is that when you can just listen to my voice and try to understand. Let's, for example, take our calf muscle as an example. The beginning of the calf muscle starts at the heel, the back of the heel, the Achilles. Then it becomes a fat muscle, and then it attaches again to the back of the knee. So it starts quite thin, then it spreads out, becomes fat, and then it becomes thin again. Where you ideally want to feel the stretch is in the bulky part, is in the thick part, not in the attachments. So if you feel a really strong pull in the back of the left knee, you might need to put something under the thigh, so you have a soft bend in the knee. I have overextension in my joints, so I tend to pull into my joints rather than into the big part of the muscle. So if you notice that for yourself as well, just back off a little. 2 minutes of stillness. Soften the skin on your face, soften the jaw, space between the top row of teeth and the bottom row of teeth. Soften your tongue, your shoulders, deep, slow breathing. We've got a minute to go. In through the nose, and if you can, out of the mouth. One more deep breath in here. And a sigh. On the inhale, slowly walk all the way up. And then please make sure that you are warm enough. Warm enough because we're moving to Shavasana. I assume we haven't been moving a lot. But I can feel that I'm getting a little bit cold. So I'm going to put something on soon. But before we move to Shavasana, one of my favorite shapes, come lie back. Supported bridge pose, a last back bend, so you can place something under your sacrum. You can also put 2 blocks. Something quite strong, something quite stable. So you can let your hips rest. Feet parallel, knees above the ankles. And then you can have the palms facing up. Totally surrender and relax for the last 2 minutes here. To move out of the shape, please just slowly lift your hips, move whatever is lying under you, and then vertebra by vertebra, upper part of the back, middle part of the back, lower part of the back. If you have a bolster, it's quite nice to place it under the knees for Shavasana. Nice release for the lower back. You don't need it, so otherwise just extend the legs. If your lower back is sensitive, a nice way as well is to place the feet as wide as the mat and let the knees knock a little in towards each other. That's also fine. I'll be the timekeeper, so no need for you to look at the time or anything like that. Just relax back. We'll be here for 4 minutes. If you are in a really, really nice, peaceful place, I sometimes compare it to, you know, when you're so comfortable in your bed and the alarm clock goes off and your first thought is like, oh no, already. If that's the feeling or thoughts that you have, then just ignore my instructions. Maybe if you have some kind of time or even don't care about the time, and just stay there. This is also a beautiful opportunity and a beautiful moment to meditate. Why not use the next 5 to 10 minutes to meditate, maybe journal write some of the things that might have come up down. It's also very much part of the healing process of processing our thoughts and emotions that are totally allowed to be there. It's just observing them that can really help us understand and feel where we're at. If you're ready to start moving, start to just make small movements with your fingers and your toes. A couple of circles with your feet. Bring them from right to left. Stretch a little out. And then maybe start to extend the arms over your head. Full stretch of the body, and then bring the knees back in towards your chest. Take it nice and slow. Feel how nice the body feels. Roll to a side. Use the bottom arm as a pillow for your head. And slowly come up when you are ready into a seated position. But again, as I said, feel free to just stay exactly where you are. When you are in your seat, when you've adjusted your clothes, when your seat feels comfortable, again, just close your eyes. These yin practices are healing because they counter for all the doing and the busyness in our lives. And that's why they just simply feel so good. You feel so good when you come off your mat to have spent that time resting, recovering, and nurturing yourself. And yin energy is not only cultivated through a yin yoga practice. There's yin activities. You can just Google what are yin activities. Even having a little walk in nature is considered more yin, like a soft stroll. Having tea with friends and just sitting and resting and being. Being rather than doing. So let's take some of that beautiful nurturing, that yin energy with us off our mat into the rest of our evening. We can have dinner in a yin way. We can take each step. We can brush our teeth in a more yin way. Just see, observe, notice, and that's all you can ask from yourself. Let's close our practice by again acknowledging each other, by placing, you can place your hands in front of the heart, or you can just stay exactly where you are. Thank you so much for joining, for nurturing yourself. Have a lovely rest of your evening. Maybe see you tomorrow morning. Namaste.